Friday artist and finesse with you on Friday nights. I don't know what night it is, finesse. Why should we care? The Penguins don't care.
No, I mean, that's why we're starting this podcast with like 8 minutes left in the game. Because, look, we're mailing it in. We're calling it a game.
How can you have a playoff game? I went to the game with my dad tonight on the way out. He said something to the effect of, they were due for an off night. And my response was not really. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a team quite like this, that when they just don't show up certain nights, they really don't show up. Like, it's so extreme. How can they just completely fail to be prepared to play a game like this?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've sort of like gotten to a place. I don't think we have, but it seems that you get this sense sometimes from just being around sort of the fans of the team and stuff, is that like if you have one good game, then you're allowed to have a bad game the next game. And it just sort of like offsets. And it's like, yeah, well, I had a bad game, but hey, it was great the last game. And it's not really a 50-50 proposition. I mean, you got to be good every game. And the Pens were terrible tonight. We're watching now, 6:42 left, 4-on-4. It was just bad from the beginning. The Rangers came out flying, and the Pens had no answer.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give the Rangers some credit for coming back from the dead, because they look like they look like we were going to walk all over them the way they walked all over us tonight, and they were inspired tonight.
They had, they came out flying. Pens weathered the storm for a few minutes. If the Pens could have gotten the first goal, you might have seen the Rangers kind of pack it in, fold up shop.
Right.
But that didn't happen. And I thought the first goal that the Rangers scored was one that Fleury should not have given up.
Yeah, he didn't give us much of a chance tonight.
No, and it's not like this game is his fault, but it should probably be 2-1 right now instead of 4-1. And if it was 2-1, you'd still be at the game with your dad.
Yeah, the third goal by Brassard, you can't really blame Fleury. I mean, he stopped the first two point-blank chances.
No, I'm talking about the McDonough goal, the fourth goal. The
fourth goal,
wrist shot from the point or whatever.
The fourth goal was horrible. But the third goal, man, how's deflating? He makes two great saves, and they score a goal, and Jokinen was like facing Fleury right on top of when that goal was scored. I don't know what the hell he was doing there. And then you're right, the McDonough goal was just a total easy goal given up by Fleury. It's just a bad game.
Jokinen's like tied up with the defenseman Moore right now in front. Are you worried at all? The Pens are sort of getting into undisciplined territory right now. Does that worry you at all?
They're going to refocus for the next game. It's just you can't give games away in the playoffs. They just gave this game away.
I give the Rangers credit. I thought the Rangers played very well for the Rangers to start the game.
They did play well, but at the same time, you can say the Penguins were not determined to overcome adversity in this game. They sort of looked adversity in the face and they said, we're not going to overcome this adversity. We're just not going to do it tonight.
What was the crowd like? Tell us about the in-arena experience.
It was fairly loud at the beginning, but this is the time in which we live. It's like the Madison Square Garden crowd. It's very corporate. Things go bad and they get angry, but there's no resolve in the crowd either. Like people were just done with it after one period. They were just done.
What is Pittsburgh corporate? How does that compare to Manhattan corporate?
Pittsburgh corporate, you see some mismatched slacks and socks. A lot of that. Some bad shoes.
Well, I imagine the shoes are way better in the Manhattan corporate crowd than the Pittsburgh crowd.
There's some subtle differences. No, but it's just not a very. I don't want to say it's not a knowledgeable crowd, but it's not a crowd that necessarily understands the ebb and flow of a playoff game. They want you to shoot all the time.
Right.
They're angry when you don't score. every power play, that kind of thing.
There's either ebb or flow. There's not ebb and flow.
Right.
You got to understand, a good crowd understands there's an ebb and there's a flow.
There's an ebb and there's a flow, and there's a role for the crowd when the game is ebbing and when it's flowing, and you need to know what your role is.
Which is when something's good happens? When something good happens, is that an ebb or a flow?
I would call that an ebb.
Would you ever? But like, if something bad is happening, you wouldn't, turn to the person next to you and say, like, this game's really flowing right now.
No, you wouldn't. I just looked up and I see there's like 8 people in the penalty box. What did I miss there? Why is Dan Biles in the drawing on his board?
What does he draw? It looked like he just drew a pair of breasts.
He's drawing obscene pictures.
That would actually be kind of funny if, man, that was close. Good save. It would actually be kind of funny if a coach used the whiteboard to write messages for the TV cameras.
Yeah.
Or to the referees or something. Like, that would be, I think that's something that like could have possibly happened back in the 80s when the coaches used to go jump into the stands and fight each other and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know how we ended up with a power play here, but the net is empty, and the Pens are pressing a little bit here.
Yeah.
So with this game, do you temper the optimism that sort of came about from the last 3 games, or is this just a bad game and we should still be optimistic, or should we never been that optimistic in the first place?
No, I really think that you had to expect that the Rangers were going to be desperate tonight, and the Penguins were not only not matching their desperation, they just had the attitude I think that we did, that they were just going to roll. They were just going to have an easy time of it tonight, and they couldn't recover when the Rangers didn't just roll over. And it's not our job as observers to get up for the game, and be primed to play. I think we had every reason to expect that the Penguins would finish them off tonight and go for the jugular. But the Penguins this is just the way this team is. They just seem to collectively sometimes lose their way, and it's just really difficult to expect. I mean, it's human nature that they're not going to be as desperate as the Rangers, but you just have to play the game the right way. And the top line was terrible tonight. If I were Bilesma, I would have split up Sid and Gino tonight. That line was terrible in the first period.
Yeah, especially defensively. I thought that a lot of what happened in the first period was bad plays by the forwards along the boards in the defensive zone. Yeah. Especially even on the first shift of the game, I think it was Malkin who misplayed a puck on the boards, and it led to a minute shift in the Pens zone. But I'm not saying Malkin. He's been the best player for the Pens tonight by far, and we just watched him dance through the Rangers defense. So, I think part of the problem is really just credit to Lundqvist. He's not giving up any bad goals.
Yeah, he's not a goalie you're going to come back from 3 down against.
He's not giving up that half slap shot from the point with no traffic.
That was awful. I really do.
I'm saying that now because I'm trying to jinx it.
Empty net or missed the net. I really do expect the Penguins to come back in Game 6 and play really well.
I like the Pens better on the road than at home anyway.
Yeah, this is just disappointing not because they lost, but because they just seem to have no clue how to go about their business in closing out the Rangers.
Yeah.
No idea how to do it.
This game is a good reminder of how annoying it is to lose to Dominic Moore. I don't like that guy at all. Can't stand him.
Not a likable fellow.
No. What else? What else did you notice? I've been saying this all playoffs, and I haven't gotten your take on it. And really, that's my fault because you're pretty much the authority on this. I'm not talking about coach's hair. What I'm talking about is the ice conditions. It just seems like the ice has been terrible at Consol all playoffs.
So bad. It was terrible.
And there was a play in the first period when Malkin would have had a great one-time chance. But the puck was bouncing, and he had to take that quarter second to settle it down, and then the shot got blocked.
Yeah,
and right now it's bouncing around like a racquetball.
I see it. It's so frustrating. We take our greatest strength and we make it a weakness. Our ability to skate and handle the puck is an advantage we're going to have over a team like this every night. And we take it away by not giving ourselves good ice. I just don't understand.
Do you put any responsibility for that on 66? I mean, he owns the team. He owns the ice. It's his ice.
It's his ice. He's got to be responsible for his own ice.
He came out. You remember he came out there the first game and poured the cup of Civic Arena ice?
Yeah, he made a statement. I am owning this ice.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want the glory of owning the ice, it comes with a responsibility to take care of the ice.
That's right. You can't own the ice on good nights and disclaim the ice on bad nights.
Crosby clearly frustrated, poking with Lundqvist in the crease. He wasn't great tonight either. He needs to have a big game, I think, in Game 6.
Yeah. I feel like, as far as I'm concerned, in Game 6, the Penguins should pick up right where they left off in Game 4. And this game is just an anomaly. I mean, they just didn't have it tonight.
It's very possible. I mean, this team has lost a lot of closeout games. I'm scrolling through. Josh Yohe says since 2010, the Penguins are 4-7 when they had a chance to clinch a series. 1-4 at home. I think if you go back farther, you'll actually find they're like 1-6 or something at home.
Yeah.
So the Rangers scored.
What wasn't very good tonight was the pairing of Letang and Martin. They really struggled tonight too.
Well, it's hard when you have to play 30 minutes a night.
I was very disappointed when Bob B just shot the puck into the stands for no apparent reason, which led to a power play goal.
Well, their 2 power play goals were on ridiculous penalties. There's Bob B shooting the puck into his crowd, and then there was Jokinen and Neal not getting off the ice quick enough. And there was a too many men call.
Do you have any good feelings for little Marty St. Louis, who's playing after the passing of his mom? And the timing was just unbelievable because right before his mother passed away, he declared that he was just horrible in the previous game.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm able to talk about that. I'm not a mother.
You're a son.
Yeah, but I'm a son, but I'm not I don't think you could talk about it either. You're not a mother.
Look.
You can't compare being a father to being a mother.
There's a difference between not being able to talk about something and not being able to speak with authority on something. You can talk about whatever you want.
No, obviously you feel bad for the guy. I fully expected that he would play tonight. It's not often that, most professional athletes I don't think would sit out an elimination game like this. But it's obviously very, very sad for him. I don't know him personally. I don't. I can't take it much farther than that. It's very sad for him.
It is. You're really keeping your distance on this topic.
Well, what are your thoughts on it? Do I feel happy that his mother died? Of course not. Do I feel happy that he won the game? No, I don't. I don't think that the fact that his mother died doesn't make the Pens losing to the Rangers any more palatable to me. It disgusts me.
Yeah, the thing about situations like this is you always think that the people who are affected in this way are thinking to themselves, my mother would want me to play.
Right.
And therefore I'm going to play. I really don't think my mother would care.
If you played or not?
She'd really do what you want, If you're not feeling up to it, don't play.
Yeah.
And I might just take that approach. I might just be like, I don't really want to play.
Rare is the mother who would be like, I don't want you to play. I want you to stay home. And I don't want you to go on without me.
Don't you dare take the ice.
So it looks like this is going to end 5-1. That's pretty embarrassing.
Awful. Just awful.
Yeah. I don't know. You still got to feel good about the chances, but We all thought it was going to be a long series at the beginning. Just these games are why it's very hard to trust the Penguins. It's why when the Pens win 3 games in a row, we're not writing about Fleury's resurgence or the impact that Jacques Martin has turned the Pens into a defensive juggernaut. It's because in the back of our minds we know that this team is always capable of this type of game tonight.
Yeah, but it also, in fairness, this was awful, inexcusable performance. But it does really happen to a lot of other teams. Like, you saw the Blackhawks and Wild the other night. After the Blackhawks just looked so dominant, the first game in Minnesota, they beat the Blackhawks like 5-0. It was like they were by far the better team.
Yeah.
That night. And, there's just no real momentum. The Canadians should have been up 3-0 on the Bruins, and now all of a sudden that's tied. Just very unpredictable.
Yeah, well, all the teams are good. That's it's rare that you're going to just stomp a team for 4 games. They're all too good. So, you just got to come back next game and play better.
Let me ask you a question before we go. What do you think about the Steelers' draft pick so far?
They drafted Ryan. What's his last name?
Ryan Shazier.
Ryan Shazier. Yeah. Look, you know this about me. I judge football players by their name. I don't need to see them play. Name and position. If the name sounds like a guy who'd be good, I'm all for it. Like, I don't. I'm not. I like Shazier. I wish his first name was something like Shabazz. If his name was Shabazz Shazier, then I think that's a linebacker.
Can we call him Shazam? Does that make things take on sort of a different light?
I don't know. I mean, how many linebackers can the Steelers have? Do the Steelers have any positions other than linebackers? I feel like that's all we have.
Mostly linebackers, and in the second round tonight, we drafted a defensive end. So after all the talk about cornerbacks and wide receivers, we got a linebacker and a defensive end, which we also need. I mean, you can't really say there's anything that we don't need.
It's rare that a team has been simultaneously classified as being in cap space hell and having a need at basically every position.
Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment.
It's really funny. I would have liked to take that cornerback, Denard. Darquez Denard, but I wish his name was reversed. If his name was Denard Dequez,
right,
or Darqueezy or whatever, Denard Darqueezy, I think makes a Pro Bowl his rookie year.
Yeah, you're probably right. What do you think about a guy like Clinton Dix? Is he a superstar, or?
I think with the Packers he is,
but not with the Cowboys.
No, I think if he goes to like the Cowboys or the Chargers,
right?
I don't think so. But you just see, you can hear Joe Buck calling a Packers game in December in the snow with Troy Aikman, and Clinton Dix is out there making plays, ball hawking.
Oh man!
Are you worried about Johnny Manziel being with the Browns in the Steelers division?
Not really. Here's a great name. It looks like he just got picked. Desmond Southward.
That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good name. Am I worried about Johnny Manziel? Well, not particularly, but I will say this. In defense of Cleveland, everybody's knee-jerk reaction in Pittsburgh is just to blast whatever the Browns do. I actually really like what the Browns have done. They had the 4th pick in the draft, and people were thinking they would take Manziel with that pick.
Right.
But they traded it to Buffalo. They got a number 1 and a number 4 next year from Buffalo, which is going to be a high pick. And they got the top cornerback in the draft at number 9. And then they go and get Manziel at 22. That's a pretty damn good first round.
Yeah, very good. And that pick number 22, I think it was 26, and they traded, but that was because they dumped Trent Richardson, who stinks.
Right. They had to give up like a 5th rounder or something to move up.
Yeah.
I thought they did really well. I mean, if those are the guys they like, it's not like they've had great success in evaluating talent in the past, but lots of people think Manziel will be good. He could be good, or he could get broken in two by the Steelers in the first game of the season.
Certainly possible.
What do you think?
I'm looking now. The second round really wins the name battle. So the worst name in the draft is Paul Richardson, signed as a wide receiver for the Seahawks. That's just, I mean, are you kidding me? Like Paul Richardson, not going to be good. But maybe the best name with the 19th pick in the second round, the Bears took a defensive tackle named Ego Ferguson. Like his first name is Ego.
That's great.
That's great. Man, this second round has some great names. Really, like you got Xavier Suafilo, there's a guy named Joel Batonio. Batonio sounds like one of the names of the people who sends emails to our mailbags.
Here's another.
You got like Denise Batonio from like Clarion.
Yeah, that really does sound like it. Here's another great pick, I think. The Jacksonville Jaguars, with the third pick in the entire draft, take quarterback Blake Bortles.
Right.
Which is really the same thing as taking Blaine Gabbert.
You're with me on that, right? Like, that's a terrible name for a quarterback.
It's a terrible name for a quarterback, and I predict he's going to be a terrible quarterback. I think it's Blaine Gabbert all over again. And why can't they get this right? They just seem to be having a hard time.
Yeah,
Although Ben is on record as saying Blake Bortles will be the best quarterback in the draft.
Ben is?
Ben.
But that's because everyone says Blake Bortles reminds them of Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
And Roethlisberger, to his credit, defied the odds with the name situation. Because Roethlisberger, you would never think would be a great quarterback name.
Never.
But he has, that's why he goes by Ben.
Here's a great name in the second round. Running back Bishop Sankey for the Titans.
Bishop Stanky. It'd be better if it was Stanky. Yeah, these names are just terrific.
We still have a long way to go before the Steelers pick in the third round.
Weston Richburg. These names, they don't even sound real.
Here's a not-so-good name. Tight end to the Texans with the first pick in the third round. C.J. Fedorowicz.
C.J. Fedorowicz?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like, in the first round, I like Juwan James as an offensive tackle, but I don't like him as an offensive tackle. I'd like him as like a power forward in the NBA. Juwan James is an NBA name.
Yeah, I agree. What's he doing there?
Wrong draft, buddy.
Listen, some people need 5 years to evaluate the draft. We can do it pretty much right away without even watching any film.
Yeah, next year we should do a mock draft just based on the names.
I think that's a great idea.
You should have done it this year. So, well, tough loss, but we'll bounce back.
Yeah, let's put this one out of our minds. There's no good that can come of thinking about it anymore.
Nope.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Until next time, GTOJ.